I'm Liz Charky. I'm a cinematographer based in Los Angeles, and I'm here screening my short film, An Interior Body, at CAMERIMAGE in Poland for the student film competition. So the short's about a woman who is living in her home in Beirut. It's inspired by events during the civil war in Lebanon. And she's pregnant and trying to make sense of bringing a child into a world that feels very unsafe and scary, and goes through the experience of having a miscarriage. It's also inspired by reproductive rights for women, and it's told in a very kind of surreal and experimental way. There's no dialogue in it. It's all visuals and sound design, but this idea of fear around an unsafe world and bringing a child into that world is sort of the inciting incident, and her hope around, being able to recover from that experience. The film has a lot of darkness in it at the beginning. It goes from, we're in her home with her, and the darkness takes over. We slowly bring back more and more and more light, to the point where the set itself that began inside the home is outside. I would never have shot it any other way, because part of the story is inspired by women in my life, including my grandmother, including one of my good friend's mothers, who I also interviewed both of them for the project, because both had experienced living in the Middle East. But again, because of the context of those specific women that I interviewed and their stories that helped me develop this one, I was going back in time with them. So it was important to me that the film also be shot on film and have this organic kind of timelessness to it. And shooting on film, it's just, I feel like the way I was able to treat the film, I kind of overexposed a little so that I could bring it back down, and the grade, and just saturated a little bit more, and it all kind of related back to these initial images and stories. And we shot on the Cooke Mini S4 lenses, and part of that was wanting, again, like a little bit more vintage look. Just sort of the inherent colors that are in Cooke lenses I thought would be like a nice addition, and the flares. I was just comfortable, like I knew those lenses, especially like, again, shooting on film, you do like tests and stuff, so you're ready for it. We used a lot of dolly, and then there was one scene where we switched to handheld halfway through, and it's the scene where she basically collapses in her bathroom and is undergoing this miscarriage. And for that, I really wanted it to feel as subjective and intimate and personal as possible. I wanted to create like texture within that scene that felt like almost like what her body felt like inside, like it was like ripping apart, or like I did a bunch of like kind of experimental tests. But the one that we ended up doing was that we put a plastic bag over the lens, and then put a filter and Vaseline. And we had this one window in the bathroom that we were pushing light through. I would tear myself like pieces of the bag, and I used Storaro yellow to like really go push it, and we shot that on 250D, which is a daylight balanced film, which made that color even more saturated. My like lighting design training initially was all theater based or installation based. I think the projects that always really excite me are ones where it feels impossible at first, and the benefit of shooting on film, at least for me, is that everything is so like dialed in. Like you have to prepare so much and rehearse, and again with like the dance background, like rehearsing is very much ingrained. Right now, I'm in the process of getting ready for 2 different shoots I'm excited about. One is a fashion film for, it's a like surf-inspired menswear brand, and I'm actually shooting it with the same director, Gus. And then I'm doing a proof of concept for a feature, and it's a period piece set in the mid-19th century about these young girls who are doing kind of like seances, and it turns into sort of a horror film and things go wrong.